Hello and welcome. Today we are diving into very hard and mystical poetry, exploring the opening lines of the most influential spiritual text of ever written, the Masnavi by Iranian 13th century poet and sage Jalāl Rumi. This is going to be a long video, but if you stay with me to the end of the video, you will enthusiastically feel the pleasure of love, humanity, the divine, and this may help you have a better understanding for big journey that we are going to have together to grasp the meaning of life and the reason for our creation. These first 18 verses, often called the Song of the Reed, are not just an introduction. They're like the key that unlocks the entire treasure chest of Rumi's wisdom. Rumi begins not with a grand statement or a philosophical argument, but with a sound, the morning, beautiful cry, as simple of reed-flute. Through this single powerful metaphor, he tells the story of every human soul. Maybe you have felt like a stranger in your own life. Maybe there's a whisper in your heart that says, you don't belong here. Not entirely. If you've ever felt like that, these words you are about to hear were written for you. Let these ancient verses open door inside you, one that leads you not to answers but to remembrance. First, I start reciting the poetry and then I try to interpret it as much as I can. Okay, so let's start reciting the poetry. Now listen to this reed's flute's deep lament about the heartache being apart has meant. Since from the reed bed they uprooted me, my songs expressed each human's agony. A breast which separations split in two is what I seek to share this pain with you. When kept from their true origin, all yearn for union on the day they can return. Amongst the crowd alone, I mourn my fate. With good and bad, I have learned to integrate. That we were friends, each one was satisfied, but none sought out of my secrets from inside. My deepest secrets in this song I wail, but eyes and ears can't penetrate the veil. Body and soul are joined to form one whole, but no one is allowed to see the soul. It's fire, not just hot air, the reed flutes cry. If you don't have this fire, then you shall die. Love's fire is what makes every reed flute pine. Love's fervor thus lends potency to wine. The reed consoles those forced to be apart. Its notes will lift the veil upon your heart. Where is the antidote or poison like this song? Or confident, or one whose pines so long? This reed relates a tortuous path ahead, recalls the love with which Majnun's heart bled. The few who hear the truth the reed has sung have lost their wits, so they can speak this tongue. The day is wasted, and it's spent in grief, consumed by burning aches without relief. Good times have passed, but we couldn't care when you're with us, our friend beyond compare. While ordinary men on drops can thrive, a fish needs oceans daily to survive. The way the ripe must feel, the raw can't tell. My speech must be concise, and so farewell. Okay, thank you. So let us start with the interpretation. These aren't just poems, they are a map, a cry from the soul, trying to remember where it came from. Right from the very first word, Rumi commands our attention. He says, listen. This isn't a casual suggestion, it's an invitation to a deeper form of hearing. He wants us to listen not just with our ears but with our soul. The main character of this story is the reed flute, or ney in Persian. Rumi immediately tells us its sounds is a deep lament, a song of sorrow. And what is the source of this sorrow? It's the heartache of being apart. So, on the surface level, it's a song about separation, but according to Rumi, this is not just any separation, like a friend moving away or a lover leaving. This is the fundamental separation that defines the human condition. Rumi believes that human soul originates from a divine source, a world of perfect unity and oneness with God. The moment the soul enters this physical world and takes on a human body, it is, in a sense, cut off from that origin. The reed flute's lament is a metaphor for soul's deep subconscious memory of its true home and profound sadness it feels from being exiled in this material world. This feeling, being apart, is the root of all human restlessness, searching, and spiritual yearning. Since from the reed bed they uprooted me, my songs express each human's agony. Here Rumi deepens the metaphor. He gives us the backstory of the reed flute. Where did it come from? It was uprooted from the reed bed. The reed bed is the key symbol here. It represents that divine source. The word of unity, the spiritual place where all souls were once connected, growing together like reeds in a marsh, existing in a state of oneness with their creator. The act of being uprooted is the soul's birth into this world. It's a traumatic event, a separation from the source. The reed, the reed is no longer part of the whole. It is now an individual, separate entity. That is why its song is not just a personal complaint. Rumi says its song expresses each human's agony. He's making a universal statement. He believes that this feeling of separation has a spiritual homesickness, is not unique to him or to a few mystics. It is a silent, often unrecognized pain that lies at the bottom of every human heart, whether we know it or not. We all carry the memory of the reed bed, and we all feel the ache of being uprooted. A breast which separation split in two is what I seek to share this pain with you. Now, the reed flute representing Rumi, or a spiritual guide, speaks about its ideal listener. It's not looking for just someone to hear its song. It is actively seeking a specific kind of person, someone with a breast which separations split in two. The breast here symbolizes the heart, the center of the emotions and spiritual consciousness. A heart split in two is one that has been torn open by pain of this same spiritual longing. It's a heart that isn't connected with a superficial pleasure of the world. It feels deep emptiness, a void that nothing material can fill. This person understands the reed's lament because they feel it in their own being. Rumi is saying that true spiritual communication can only happen between kindred spirit. His words are not for the complacent or the spirituality numb. They are for the seeker, the one who is already wounded by this longing for the divine. He wants to find this person, to share this pain, not to wallow in misery. But because in that shared understanding, the path to healing and reunion begins. It's an invitation to a shared journey. When kept from their true origin, all yearn for union on the day they can return. This pair of verses presents a universal law of existence as Rumi sees it. It's a fundamental principle of spiritual physics. Everything in existence that has been separated from its source holds an innate desire to go back. Think of a stone thrown into the air. It yearns to return to the earth because of the gravity. Rumi is applying this principle to human soul. Our true origin is God. Therefore, the very nature of our soul is to yearn for that origin. Amongst the crowd, alone I mourn my fate. With good and bad, I have learned to integrate. Here, Rumi describes the paradoxical existence of the spiritual person in the world. The reed-flute plays its song amongst the crowd. Its message is available to everyone, the good and the bad. A true spiritual guide, like a sun, shines on all without discrimination. The message of love and longing is offered to the saint and the sinner alike. However, despite being in the middle of the crowd, the reed feels profoundly alone. This is the loneliness of the one who sees a deeper reality that others do not. While people may gather around and listen, very few truly understand the depth of the message. So the mystic or the true seeker often feels of a sense of isolation. They live in a world, they integrate with all kinds of people, but their inner reality, their faith of mourning this separation from God, keeps them in a state of inner solitude. That we were friends, each one was satisfied, but none sought out my secrets from inside. This is a powerful and somehow sad observation about human relationship, especially with spiritual teaching. The people in the crowd consider the reed-flute a friend. They are satisfied with its company. They enjoy its beautiful music in the surface level of its song. But Rumi points out a crucial failure. None sought out of my secrets from inside. People were content with the exterior, the performance, the pleasant sound. They never bothered to ask, what is the source of this song? What deep meaning, what secret does this music carry? This is Rumi critique of a superficial approach to spirituality. This is easy to enjoy the outward forms of religion, the poetry, the rituals, the community gatherings, but Rumi believes the real treasure, the transformative secrets lie within. They require effort and a desire to go beyond the surface. Most people, he laments, are satisfied being fan of the music rather than becoming true students of its message. They hear the sound but miss the soul. My deepest secrets in this song I wail, but eyes and ears can't penetrate the wail. Here Rumi tells us exactly where the secret is hidden. It's not somewhere far away. It's right here in the very song being wailed. The ultimate truth is present in the lament itself. So why can't people grasp it? Because as Rumi says, the physical eyes and ears can't penetrate the veil. The veil, or hijab in Arabic or Persian, is a central concept in Sufism. It represents anything that obscures the divine reality from us. The veil is not a physical curtain out in the world. It is woven from our own ego, our attachment to the material world, and our preconceived notions, and our reliance on the five senses alone. Rumi is teaching that spiritual truth is not intellectual concept that you can grasp with your mind and perceive with your physical senses. It is a reality that must be experienced with a different faculty. Body and soul are joined to form one whole, but no one is allowed to see the soul. Rumi uses a perfect everyday example to illustrate the mystery of veil. Look at a living person. The body and soul are intimately connected, joined to form one whole. The soul animates the body, gives it life, allows it to speak, move, and feel. The presence of soul is undeniable. It's the difference between a living person and a corpse. And yet, no one is allowed to see the soul. You can't perform surgery and find the soul. You can't put it under the microscope. It has no color, shape, or weight. It is completely non physical, yet, it is intimately present and essential for life. Rumi uses this to explain the relationship between the hidden spiritual reality and the manifest physical world. The divine is intimately woven into the fabric of creation, just as the soul is woven into the body. The secret of the reed song is right here, inseparable from the sound, yet it remains unseen to the physical senses. It's fire, not just hot air. The reed-flute's cry, if you don't have this fire, then you should die. The tone shifts dramatically here. It becomes intense and urgent. Rumi wants to make it absolutely clear that the reed-flute song is not just sound waves, not just air or empty words. It is a fire. This fire is the burning, passionate, all consuming fire of divine love. It's a love that is not gentle or sentimental. It is the transformative force that burns away everything that is not real. Then comes one of Rumi's most famous and provocative lines: if you don't have this fire, then you should die. This sounds shocking, but Rumi is not talking about physical death. He's talking about the spiritual death. According to Rumi, a life lived without the passionate life, without a burning desire for truth, for meaning, for connection with the divine, is a life that is already spiritually dead. Love's fire is what makes every reed's flute pine. Love's fervor thus lends potency to wine. In case we had any doubt about what fire is, Rumi explicitly names it here. It is love's fire. This divine love is the engine of the entire spiritual journey. It is this fire that causes the reed flute, the soul, to pine and to sing its song for longing. The reed consoles those forced to be apart. Its notes will lift the veil upon your heart. Here, the role of the reed flute becomes clearer. It is a source of consolation. It speaks to all who feel forced to be apart, all souls separated from their divine home. In hearing its song, we realize that we're not alone in our pain, but its function is not just to console, it is to transform. Rumi says its note will lift the veil upon your heart. We have already heard about this veil, the barrier of ego that prevents us from seeing the truth. Rumi is claiming that his words, his music, his message have the power to tear the veil away. How? By resonating with the truth that is already inside us. The song from outside awakens the silent side within our hearts. It reminds the heart of its origin and its purpose. What is the antidote or poison like this song, or confident, or one whose pined so long? Rumi now describes the paradoxical nature of the reed song using powerful imagery. He asks, where can you find something that is both an antidote and a poison like this song? It is a poison because uh, to the ego, to the false self, this song is lethal. It kills our complacency, our attachments, and our illusions. The path of love demands that we die to our old self, but it is also the ultimate antidote. By poisoning the ego, it heals the soul. It cures the sickness of separation and spiritual ignorance. It is the medicine that restores us to our true original state of health and wholeness. This reed relates a tortuous path ahead, recalls the love with which Majnun's heart bled. Rumi wants to be honest. The spiritual journey is not easy. The reed song doesn't promise a simple, comfortable path. It relates a tortuous path ahead, a path filled with blood, struggle, difficulty. The path of love is a path of fire. To illustrate the intensity of this love, he brings up one of the most famous figures in Persian and Arabic literature, Majnun. Majnun was a man who fell so madly in love with a woman named Layla or Layli that he lost his mind, abandoned society, and wandered the desert, composing poetry about her. His name, Majnun, literally means possessed or mad. For the Sufis, the story of Majnun and Layli is the ultimate allegory for the soul's relationship with God. Majnun's obsessive, all consuming love for Layli, a love that made him forget himself completely, is a symbol of the mystic love for the divine. The reed's song, Rumi says, tells this kind of a story of a love so powerful. It bleeds a love that leads you to sacred madness. The few who hear the truth read his song have lost their wits so they can speak this tongue. This follows directly from the mention of Majnun. Rumi claims understanding the reed's message requires different kind of intelligence. The one who truly hear the truth are those who have lost their wits. This doesn't mean that they become stupid. It means that they have gone beyond limited, rational, calculating intellect. The ordinary mind, with its logic and common sense, cannot grasp the mysterious of divine love. It's too paradoxical, too mad. The day is wasted and is spent in grief, consumed by burning aches without relief. This couplet describes the state of the lover of God, the one who is on this tortuous path, From an outside perspective, their life might look wasted. The days are not spent pursuing wealth or fame or pleasure. They are spent in grief and consumed by burning aches. This grief is the constant awareness of separations from the beloved God. The burning aches are pains for longing and fire of love that never stops. For the mystic, this state of constant yearning and spiritual pain is not something to be avoided. Good times have long passed, but we couldn't care when you were with us, our friend beyond compare. This is the beautiful resolution to the previous verse's grief. The lover says, yes, my days are filled with burned aches, and from a worldly perspective, the good times of comfort and ease are gone. But we couldn't care. Why? Because they have found something infinitely more valuable, the presence of the beloved. The Rumi addresses God directly here. When you are with us, our friend beyond compare. This is a poetic translation, and sometimes the meaning may be sacrificed a little bit. If I translate this verse word by word from Persian language, Rumi says, if days are going away, let them go. You will stay with me. There is no one else like you, the cleanest, the merciful, the compassionate, the almighty. While ordinary men on drops can thrive, a fish needs an ocean to survive. Here Rumi draws a sharp distinction between two types of people, two levels of spiritual capacity. The ordinary men are those who are content with the material world. They can thrive on drops. A few drops of worldly pleasure, a little success, a bit of praise, these small things are enough to satisfy them. Their thirst is small, so a small amount of water will do. But then there is a fish. The fish is the true seeker, the lover of God. The fish cannot survive a few drops of water. It needs the entire ocean. The soul, in its true nature, is a creature of the divine ocean. Once it tastes the ocean, once it remembers its true home, it can no longer be satisfied with drops of worldly existence. Its thirst is infinite, and only the infinite ocean of God's presence can quench it. The way the ripe must feel, the raw can't tell. My speech must be concise, and so farewell. Rumi concludes this magnificent opening with a statement on the limits of language. He creates final pair of opposite, the ripe and the raw. The raw is the beginner on the path, the person who has not yet experienced the transformative fire of love. The ripe is the mature mystic, the one who has been cooked and ripened by the fire. Rumi states a simple truth. The way ripe must feel, the raw can't tell. No amount of words can truly convey a direct experience to someone who has not had it. You can't explain the taste of an apple to someone who has never eaten one. Similarly, the spiritual state of the ripe mystic is beyond the comprehension of the raw beginner. Because of these limitations, Rumi says, my speech must be concise, and so farewell. He knows that at a certain point, words must stop. The rest of the journey is not about listening or talking, but about direct experience and tasting for oneself. It is an invitation for the listener to move beyond his words and begin their own journey of ripening. And with that humble acknowledgement of the limits of speech, he ends this powerful introduction and prepares to tell many stories that make up the rest of the Masnavi. If you have watched this video to this point, then I really thank you. I promise to continue with different stories of Rumi, and together we can transform ourselves to a better level of humanity. Thank you and goodbye.